Roger Stone here. Your dollars are losing ground, but gold isn't. American Sovereign Bullion helps you protect your wealth through real, tangible assets. Through their nationwide wholesaler network, you get some of the best pricing on gold and silver delivered straight to your door. Since 1912, the U.S. dollar has lost 97% of its purchasing power. Meanwhile, gold continues to prove its strength. So call 844-272-2428. That's 844-272-2428. Or visit dyingdollar.com to request your free gold and silver guide. That's dyingdollar.com.
The Rita Cosby Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I know your name is Rita, 'cause your perfume is smelling sweet. Since when I saw you down on the floor.
Breaking news.
And tonight on the Rita Cosby Show, lots of big news happening. Everybody is watching the state of Maine as the results are coming in still on the race with Graham Platner. The race is tightening there, but he has handily won the U.S. Senate race in the Democratic primary. At one point, he was like 75, almost 78 percentage points. We just got an update. It looks like 71%. But that still is a big win, and I can't believe that Maine voters are sending him off at least to the general election, and he is coming out swinging. This is really going to be probably what a lot of people believe one of the nastiest races now that he has secured the Senate nomination in Maine for the Democratic Party. Here he is again, making no bones and going right for the fight.
If you reflect Maine's values, why are you funding masked agents who are ripping our neighbors off the streets, driving them off in unmarked vans? That is not the freedom that I served 4 tours defending. If you are an independent voice, why do you vote with Donald Trump 95% of the time? If you're so bipartisan, why were you the deciding vote to put Brett Kavanaugh on the Supreme Court? The deciding vote to defund our health care and our hospitals. Why did you rubber stamp the greatest redistribution of wealth from the working class to the ruling class in the history of our nation? Susan Collins is only bipartisan when it doesn't matter. Susan Collins calls herself the gold standard of common sense. Common sense would be Mainers not having to choose between seeing a doctor or paying your mortgage. Common sense would be banning billionaires from buying elections. And it would also be giving workers the same seat at the table as CEOs. Common sense would be a minimum wage that's a living wage. It would be keeping our hospitals open and our schools funded and our kids from having to fight in another generation of forever wars.
Breaking news.
And we are just getting word that the U.S. strikes have stopped on Iran. This is a busy news night. What we found out, of course, earlier was that Iran had hit a U.S. helicopter yesterday. So listen to, first of all, sort of what started it. This is in the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian drones hit an Apache helicopter with 2 U.S. pilots on board.
Carrie, thank you. We've got a Fox News alert, some brand new information now coming into us on that U.S. Apache helicopter shot down near the Strait of Hormuz last night. 2 senior officials are now telling Fox that chopper was shot down by an Iranian drone. A first-of-its-kind operation was executed to rescue 2 airmen. President Trump says they are both doing okay, thank God. Trump saying moments ago as well on his Truth Social post that the U.S. must respond.
And the U.S. did. And President Trump put out a statement about 5-6 hours ago saying the retaliation has begun. They started strikes on air defenses and other locations in Iran. Then they just announced a few moments ago that the strikes have stopped. But now Iran, get this, is coming out and saying in the last few minutes that they will retaliate the retaliation. You can't make this up. Iran is shooting at ships and also planes and choppers in the Strait of Hormuz, even though, of course, there's a blockade there that the U.S. is enforcing. And apparently these two pilots were enforcing the blockade via an Apache helicopter. They get shot down. Thank goodness they're recovered by some really state-of-the-art, unmanned vehicles, weaponry that actually was able to go through the boats. It's the first time it's ever happened. An unmanned boat by the U.S. picked them up, and then they were plucked up via a helicopter out of the waters. But they're both safe and sound, thank goodness. Americans, the last thing we want is for them to be in Iranian territory. But they're out, they're safe. That's the good news. And then we say we're going to retaliate. And now Iran says in the last few minutes, they're going to retaliate. So this is going to get messy because, of course, President Trump said the ceasefire began in, it's been about 2.5 months now. So it doesn't really sound too much like a ceasefire at this moment, but we'll see where it goes. Maybe it can bring them back to the peace table. Let's see. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Christine in Connecticut on line 1. Christine, boy, a lot of news tonight.
Unreal, Rita. Well, let's go to New England. Well, you know what? There's two bad candidates, but let's get Graham Platner out of the way. How can a Democrat have a Nazi tattoo, especially during Pride Month? I hope he's not carping for LGBT people like myself, because I think that's a more than a slap in the face, because what they did and then what Hitler did to LGBT people, and he destroyed the gender clinics. He gave them what he did to the Jews. So this is outrageous to me. This is appalling, and I hope Susan Collins, the Maine voters, fix this. And
Christine, by the way, Christine, he also made disparaging comments about LGBTQ. He made disparaging comments against veterans. He said the women that were adults, buck up if you're raped, act like adults. I'm always trying to think African Americans he disparaged. I'm trying to think if there's any groups that he hasn't disparaged. Christine, when you hear that, it's like, and he's running on the Democratic line. And then there were women tonight. I was watching tonight. I was like, who's in the crowd behind him? And he was in an area where he was born of Maine. So he's like, here I am. I'm back here, through the grace of this. He was reciting, different prayers. And I'm thinking, what are you talking about? You're on an app. At one point, clearly cheating on your wife. I consider that cheating if you're sending like sexual messages to strangers. And he's sitting there and you have all these women behind him. And there were a lot of like middle-aged women that were like clapping behind him. Our Graham, that's our wonderful Graham. I'm thinking, are you kidding me? What do you make when you see a woman behind him clapping for this guy who has no right to be in any political office?
That's just another case of just when you think and you hear and see it all, Rita. This is amazing. And then, I don't know if you heard about the candidate in Connecticut, the Republican state rep candidate in the tiny town of Brooklyn in northeastern Connecticut last week. He had the old anti-Pride Month post, which I get, Republicans, but he took it a few steps further with a social media post that was unheard of. The Supreme Court wanting to overturn same-sex marriage. He goes, with a noose, the Bible has another idea.
Oh, my gosh.
And Rita, he goes on talk radio, an afternoon drive show in Hartford, and I heard it not once but twice. He said, government should execute sodomites.
Oh, my goodness. Now, this is a Republican candidate, Christine?
Yes, a 23-year-old kid.
Oh, my God. What is his name? Because that to me is appalling. I agree with you. That is absolutely appalling.
Jadon, which would be Jadon McCormick.
Okay, good. I'm glad. By the way, thank you for spotlighting this, because obviously somebody like that who makes those comments I agree with you. That is absolutely appalling. I'm just learning about him now. I'm definitely going to look more into him because that is obviously, if he said those things, that is despicable and really, really disgusting. And, Christine, that's why I love you, because you're a straight shooter like I am. Like, I just want good people. And to me, no matter what side of the aisle, if you're not a good person, that's appalling to me. Those kind of statements, whether it's Republican, Democrat, you just want what's right. And that's what life's about. It's about common sense. And we need people who appreciate and love and respect other people. Don't you think?
Absolutely. You know what? He wants someone like me dead. And I'll be the first to say I don't appreciate the whole Pride Month for the whole month of June, Rita, because it overshadows remembering the Stonewall riots, which was in, June 28th to July 3rd, 1969. That everyone talks about Pride Month, but no one knows about Stonewall riots, and that gets overshadowed. If I could ever have influence, I want everyone to remember Stonewall riots and do away with the Pride Month whole thing, Rita.
Well, you are gay, obviously, Christine, and you're open about it. And I also, it's interesting. I've had people on talking about the Stonewall riots because you're right. That was such an important time. And we can't forget about that either. So I actually really appreciate what you're saying. Christine, you're terrific. You stay strong. We love you. And you keep fighting the good fight. We're right there with you. Christine, thank you very much. You're terrific. Let's go to Robert in North Carolina, line 2. Go ahead, Robert. Your thoughts tonight.
Oh, good evening, Rita. I think that Maine is one of the few states that has an open primary, meaning anyone of any party can vote for anyone. And that knocks out the other candidates. They can gang up or cheat and eliminate all the other candidates.
No, that's an interesting point because you're right. And that happens. I have to look at the exact rules of Maine because in some states you can't vote twice, even if it's an open, if you're of another party, you can't duplicate a vote. If you did it, I don't know if that's the case in Maine. So in some states, if you voted, say, in the Republican primary or something else earlier in a different party, you can't vote in that one. But that probably is the case if indeed it is an open party, which I think it is. You're right, an open primary. So do you think they were trying to prop up this guy? And sometimes, you know what happens, Robert, in these open primaries, often the kind of maybe the one you want to beat because you think you can beat them gets propped up. So who knows? I think if you were to ask Susan Collins today, obviously he's going after her and he's slamming and all this other stuff. But I would go up against, if I were her, I'd love to go up against a Graham Platner. I mean, there is so much material there to go up against, and who knows what else is going to come out about this guy. And who knows how about the age of the people on the kick and there's a lot of stuff there. So maybe there were some people who were propping him up knowing he sure would be an interesting candidate to run against, Robert, right? Because sometimes that happens.
I don't know, but I'll never forget, Rita, the last election that Susan Collins had won. After the election, she is thanking the voters profusely and almost crying, like she was so happy that, it was like they gave her a great grandson or something.
Well, they definitely gave her a gift. And the thing that's interesting, Robert, too, is she always pulls it out. If you look at in the polls, she is often, down in the polls, sometimes slightly, sometimes a decent amount, but she has always won. Always won. She's a winning horse there, clearly, and she's been there quite a good time in Maine and loved and respected. So that's why this is going to be an interesting race that he is going after her, and he knows, that's why I said he sort of like set the tracks tonight, knows he's a deeply flawed candidate, and he's going on a bold offense tonight. That is clearly the trick. He's going to try to keep slamming and try to deflect as much as he can. I don't see this guy going anywhere. And my fear is tonight, with the results that came in, he got, the latest count is he got 71%. And then Janet Mills got like 19 point something, close to 20%. But that's a big difference between 71 and 19 point something. So at this point, he's, I'm sure, telling the Democratic Party, oh, no, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. I'm in it. And he has to voluntarily pull out. That's the one thing in Maine's rules. I think it's about 2 weeks or so now where they could have him, quote, voluntarily pull out, and then they could replace him. So they have a 2-week window. So any of you girls out there, come out in the next 2 weeks. Hurry up if you care about Maine. But this guy, I don't see him. He looks arrogant. He looks defiant. And he doesn't look like he's going anywhere. He's going on the offense and saying, it's not about me and my Nazi tattoo. It's about you, Maine. I love you, Maine. That's what he's saying. I just hope, Maine, you don't buy it. 1-800-848-9222. And everybody, we will continue your calls right after the break.
The biggest stage in world soccer is days away, and every goal changes everything. And now FanDuel's giving you a reason to root for every single one. Introducing Every Goal Pays. Bet on a match and get bonus bets for every goal scored in that match. Oh, that's right. More goals means more bonus bets, and all you have to do is turn on your token. Visit FanDuel.com and get started now. Let there be goals on FanDuel.
21 plus select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. 18 plus DCKYWY. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. 888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org/chat. Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org. Call 800-327-5050. Massachusetts. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY in New York. Call 877-770-7867. Louisiana.
Visit FanDuel.com. Get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
The Rita Cosby Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And let's continue with your calls. Let's go to Joaquin. And by the way, Joaquin, I hope you heard Norm earlier. He called you out by name, called in, and just said how beautiful and great you were. So thank you. I hope you heard that beautiful message from him.
I did, and I thank Norm for that, and I really, my heart goes out to him. I hope that he does well and that he doesn't shut everybody out, that maybe, some people can be an inspiration to him to help him get through this. I know what it's like myself, and I've been through a lot of stuff myself. But, my heart goes out to him. I hope he has a speedy recovery and, gets back to being the virile Norm that we've always heard on the air.
Absolutely. I miss him. I miss here. I was so happy to hear from him, Joaquin. It made me, when I was like, Norm's calling in. That just really made my night. And he's such a special man. So I can't wait to have his opinions and his great verbal fights. He is the best. So he's got to get strong for all of us because he's our leader. We love him. And Joaquin, a lot happened. What do you think of Graham Platner, Joaquin?
Oh, one more thing, though, real quick. I always wonder what happened to Jacqueline. We haven't heard from her for a long time.
You know what? That's a good point. If anybody knows, give us an update, you guys. You're right. We have not heard from Jacqueline actually in a long time. So if anybody knows, we're going to put out an SOS on her because she's also such a great gal. We have not heard from her in a long time. Do me a favor, Joaquin, I want to talk with you more. Obviously, it's the most important was Norm, and I'm glad you also mentioned fabulous Jacqueline. We're going to take a break, and then we'll get back to Graham Platner after the break. But let's set our priorities. We love Norm.
The Rita Cosby Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Breaking news.
And just in here on the Rita Cosby Show, the foreign minister of Iran putting out a very defiant statement saying despite its defeats on the battlefield, he says the U.S. opted to test our determination. Our powerful armed forces will leave no attack or threat unanswered. Also saying, leave the region if you want to be safe. Wow. Let's go back to Joaquin. Joaquin, your thoughts tonight on line 2.
Okay, Rita, when it comes down to Graham Platner, again, as I've been saying, unfortunately, you look at it, women are voting for him. But the bigger problem really is listen to how he talks and how he lays out the agenda and how he goes with the anti-American communist agenda, but how ICE is basically a Nazi force, working in our country. And how he's very easily twisting back, the accusations against him, how easily he turns them back against Trump appointing Gorsuch, and
Kavanaugh,
yes.
And Kavanaugh, of all things, remember the accusations of women against Kavanaugh with Christine Blasey Ford. And all it made me think of was, Ro Khanna, who was so critical of Kavanaugh, but is given such a free pass and is rallying next to Platner.
But this is why I keep saying the Democrats are very effective fighters, and we need to have more people that can get out there and speak like Platner, because the way he's talking about how, the affordability issue and that how everything is unfair to labor and things like that, and they push the communist agenda, we should be getting out there and pointing out how much that American sovereignty is at stake with these elections. Having illegal immigrants within our borders, third world is flooding our country. Take a look at what goes on in Europe. It's getting really bad over there. I watch videos from there all the time. And what the actual cost of illegal immigrants is to each and every taxpayer. That information is out there. There's and I forgot what the numbers are. But every time that they throw, these Democrats, even in California, saying, they contribute to the economy and things like that. No, the American taxpayer is on the hook for a lot of money for every single legal immigrant that's here for the most part. And so we really need people who can more forcefully push our agenda out there like these guys do. And I'm so sorry to say, and it really hurts me badly, but I got a funny feeling that this clown is going to win.
Oh, my goodness. I pray you are not right. How sad is that they would have the devil incarnate as long as they liked what his message was?
Right. Exactly. Yes. And of course, obviously, he's the package. He's, a good looking guy and, his tonality, the way he speaks and things like that, unfortunately, it's going to be a hard package to beat, and Susan Collins is going to have her work cut out for her, and hopefully women will rally behind her, but she's really going to have to somehow, combat every single point that this guy makes about, what he's running on, anti-ICE, and how that we need to tax, rich, which basically, as you see in New York, those numbers are coming down all the time. They hit the average, middle-class person in their own pocketbook and take their property away from them. They have to be pointed out to be the enemies of our sovereign United States of America as to what they are, unfortunately. They're out to destroy it and out to change everything.
Yeah, she's got to take the fight to him. She is a fighter, but I think this is a different kind of candidate than I think she's faced. And he's clearly going on the offense, and he's going to be dirty because he knows that there's a lot of dirt on him. So you're right. This is definitely going to be one for the record books. I do think she's ready for it. She came out even today, and usually, she's fairly mild-mannered, but she said the allegations against him are disturbing. You can see there's fight in her, that she's shocked that this guy is even on the ticket because she loves her state. And I think she is going to really take it to him. And I also think the Republican Party will take it to him, too. Because remember, the Republican Party hasn't really done opposition on him. This has been, the Democratic primary. So this is just what fellow Democrats are finding out about him. Wait till the Republican Party spends money on opposition because they want to keep that seat. They want to keep Susan Collins in the seat. If it flips from red to blue. And some people say Maine's a blue state. It's kind of a purple state. And Susan Collins is really a Republican, but a very moderate Republican and a very independent Republican. And, just mild-mannered, steady, calm, very approachable. I've met Susan Collins. She's lovely. And she's a hardworking woman and really does love her state and knows her state and appreciates her state. But wait till the Republican GOP opposition folks start maybe questioning and talking to the girls on Kick and find out what did this guy, what's it, P. Hustle, as John Fetterman eloquently. John Fetterman has already put a bet out there. Did you hear that, Joaquin? He put a bet out there saying he'll wear a suit every day.
Oh, yes.
Right, if the gals come out. So I have a feeling. He said if they can prove that every single one of them was an adult on Kick that he was talking to, if that can be proven, meaning Graham Platner, that Fetterman will get rid of his hoodies and he'll wear a suit. So my answer is he'll be wearing hoodies for a long time. That's my answer.
There was one thing I always wanted to say in defense of John Fetterman when he made that comment about hello, good night. Unfortunately, I think he was actually trying to say hello, good evening, how a type of a greeting, but in his mind after his stroke, he got it all twisted up.
He sure did.
I wanted to defend him on that.
Well, and by the way, I will defend him because he's turned out to be the most common sense Democrat of the bunch by far. And he's been great on Israel. When all those protesters, remember, came to his apartment, I love that effect. He got to the roof. Remember that? He was waving the Israeli flag. That guy has more principle than I think 99% of his party. So I agree with you. I'll defend him too, Joaquin. And Joaquin, also, thank you for taking good care of Norman. Obviously, he gave you a beautiful, well-deserved shout out. And it's great to hear from you. And especially, of course, great to hear from Norman tonight. Thanks, Joaquin. Let's go to Liz in Florida, line 1. Go ahead, Liz.
Hi, Rita. Hope you had a fabulous day, even with all the crazy news. Hearing Norman just got to me, and I promised him I wouldn't text him anymore. So, Norman, I want to tell you, I'll wait for you to text me back. Know that I love you, and if there's anything you need, I'm here for you.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. He is such a great guy, isn't he? He is the best, and I have tears in my eyes too. I'm so happy he called in, and I'm happy. It sounds like he's doing better, and he knows that there's a lot of love from all of us. That's the most important thing, that we're with him all the way.
No, he definitely sounds so much better, Rita. Oh, my gosh. Yes. The fact that he's listening to you, wow.
I know. I love that. Norm, we love you. Norm, we love you. Oh.
I wanted to just say that my feeling is that the more obscene Platner is, the more baggage they find out about him, and they will find out more things. He could have impregnated a woman. He could have killed someone. It doesn't matter. The more he's exposed, the better his numbers will be. And, everything that's wrong is right. And these women who are voting for him are clueless and uneducated. I feel like they don't even read, history books. But they're justifying their votes by focusing just on their special issues that are important to them. They don't care about anything that we care about. So it's like policy over personality, and that's how the Nazi Party rose. It's like extremist voting, mass manipulation like in the 30s. And he went to town halls face to face with people and basically blamed all of his baggage on PTSD, and they think he's a hero. So he's unconventional. And sometimes, Rita, you want a sour candy, right? And Joaquin is right. We need to go face to face and educate all Americans. We can't take for granted that they know what's really going on, that they're just not educated.
Yeah, I agree. I wonder if it would change if it turns out that the girls on Kick were not adults. It changes from a legal perspective, because you're not supposed to be soliciting minors. So if it were to be the case, and we don't know, but if it were to be, that could be kind of interesting. But I hear with you, you're saying it's sort of this indoctrination. And I think the leader of the indoctrination in part is Bernie Sanders, because Bernie Sanders on the Senate side, and then you also have, Ro Khanna on the House side. Both of them have been stalwart in their support of Graham Platner, haven't even wavered. I mean, listen to what Bernie Sanders said right when all this stuff broke, it's like all about the numbers to him. That's all he's black or white. He's just like, here it is. We want him to win. Listen, this is what Bernie Sanders said after the allegations came out.
I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that Graham Platner is the next senator from the state of Maine.
I'm going to do everything I can because I want his vote and I want a Democrat in that seat. And I don't care if it's the devil incarnate. You know what? I want that vote. I'll take that vote. I mean, Liz, I never thought I would see members of Congress sell their souls. That's what it is.
They all want the political power. Bernie Sanders, all of them, they're not well. And it's embarrassing. And they should all be investigated because it's all for political power. That's all they care about.
Yeah, and that's a sad place to be. Liz, thank you very much. Pray for America. Pray for Maine. Let's go to Eduardo, also in Florida, line 5. Go ahead, Eduardo.
Yeah, good evening, Rita. I think we waited too long to take out Carg Island. We should have done that a long time ago. And
yeah, you mean you're talking about with all the Iran stuff. I agree. I agree. Right. Now the issue, by the way, Eduardo, obviously with Carg is there's a lot of oil facilities, and people make the distinction that maybe take out some of the barracks there, take out some of the military infrastructure, but don't affect the oil markets, because the last thing you want to do is have something that affects oil prices, gas prices. That affects the world. There's a way to really cripple Iran, but maybe not hit that. What do you think?
I brought this up, too. Another thing, too, on the defense side, there's a New Mexico company, and this came out on 60 Minutes, Euroenvironment. This is laser technology to shoot down drones. We should have been a little bit more ahead of that. I know the Dubai, people like that, they got to get permission from the Pentagon. But that should have been in place before the war started out. So, because they're going to be shooting at those bases and Dubai and all those places, Bahrain. And I think we should have been more prepared with that area on the defense side.
Yeah, I agree. And also, when you talk about those drones, this Apache helicopter that was taken down by a drone, these drones are not that expensive. I don't know the cost of this one that was used, but a lot of them are like 10, 20,000. Sounds like a lot. It's not. The Apache helicopter, I've been seeing reports, it's about $46 million. So a $20,000 drone, if you will, took down a $46 million Apache helicopter. Even though they don't have a great military, whatever is left of them, it's really skeletal. If you have a few good hits, that puts a pretty big dent if you can take down an Apache. And maybe the fact that they got this one, sadly, might embolden them. And then you got this guy. What'd you make, Eduardo, of the fact of the guy tonight? The foreign minister comes out and says, you better leave the region. It's not safe for you. And they're trying to target now the Fifth Fleet, which is based in Bahrain. That's a big Navy installation there. They haven't had any success, but they pretend like they're still going after us, Eduardo.
Yeah, let them try, and you just watch. You're going to see the Carg Island gone and something else in Tehran gone, too.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope they obliterate that IRGC barracks and headquarters. That's what needs to be. That needs to be a pile of dust. I am with you on that one. Let's go to Nate in the Bronx, line 4. Nate, your thoughts tonight?
Rita, I wanted to touch on something very important with regard to national security. There's something called the National Defense Authorization Act that's going to be passed by Congress. And Section 224 of that act essentially merges the Israeli military with the U.S. military on research and development, on procurement of weapon systems, and intelligence sharing. And this is very dangerous. We shouldn't be merging with any foreign military our most sensitive military secrets and our most sensitive technology. Israel, as it is, already is one of the most egregious espionage countries for espionage against the United States.
All right. So, hey, Nate, hold on. Do you actually think we're going to give them like super duper secret intel And I hear what you're saying about the spying, because there were reports of late that they were, I think, spying on Hegseth and some others. Don't you think we're probably doing maybe some of that too? I'm not saying that, two spies makes a right. But I know you always have it in for Israel. Israel, thank God, is a democracy in that part of the world. I mean, what, do you want Gaza extended there? Is that what this is all about, Nate?
My point again is that Israel is a country that is engaged in espionage against the United States. It's attacked the United States with the USS Liberty. The anniversary of the USS Liberty was yesterday when they attacked that naval ship, killed 34 of our sailors, wounded another 171. They were never held accountable for that. You have Jonathan J. Pollard, the most damaging spy in U.S. history, who's now an Israeli citizen running for the Knesset. And again, it's a long train of abuses of this country to which we bend over backwards to assist.
So I guess, hang on. I guess, again, you didn't answer my question. Do you want Iran to roam free in the region? Do you want Gaza to be extended? Do you want the Houthis to what? Like take over, and you want Hezbollah also to take over? That's a question, Nate. Yes. How do you feel about them? Are they the greatest thing since sliced bread?
The only reason why Iran wants to have a position in the Middle East that's commensurate with the Israelis is to prevent Israeli hegemony over that region. You see what they do to their neighbors. They attack Lebanon. They attack civilians. Their military is only good for killing.
Right. So it's only defensive. Nate, I don't know what you're drinking, but it's really good stuff. I'm telling you that what they're just the nice, sweet, innocent victims who are on the defense. I don't think anybody in the region buys that, including Iran. They know what they're up to. They are constantly the hornet's nest provoking attacks, and they've gone after America. Do I need to, since you're talking about history, you want to start talking about the barracks, the Marine barracks, and what happened there? You seem to be an apologist left and right for a lot of these terrorist regimes, and everything goes back to Israel. Maybe you need to work for Mondani's mayor's office, because you'd fit right in. That's all I got to say. Nate, thank you very much. And now, support our heroes.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
The Rita Cosby Show presents Support Our Heroes.
And this is the Tunnel to Towers Foundation Support Our Heroes segment with a very powerful story from New Orleans, Louisiana, where a 104 years old Roberta Tidmore has outlived most people that she served beside, worked beside, and volunteered beside. She lived through the Great Depression, World War II, the Cold War, and the dawn of the digital age. She helped build bomber wings as a Rosie the Riveter. She joined the Marine Corps during wartime. And just last week, she was recognized in New Orleans as one of the 31 surviving Rosie the Riveters. She was honored during the National World War II Museum's 2026 American Spirit Awards. And she said humbly, when she got the recognition, she said, I don't know that we deserve all this recognition we are getting, but the majority of Americans overall are so patriotic. And of course, bravo to her and the other 30 surviving Rosie the Riveters, who definitely played a great role helping the military in World War II. And by the way, I met a whole bunch of them when I went over to Normandy a number of years ago. I think I met actually Roberta too in the group there. How beautiful and how wonderful that they are being recognized. And everybody, America's heroes need your help. Donate just $11 a month to the incredible Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Be sure to check them out at t2t.org. That's T, the number 2, T.org.
The Rita Cosby Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And let's go right to Ray in Pennsylvania. Line 2. Go ahead, Ray. Your thoughts tonight.
Hey, I just want to shout out to Norm. I know him personally. We went to a bunch of military shows with my dad. And I just want you to know, Norm, I'm pulling for you. I'm not going to call you today, tomorrow, or next day because you asked us not to. But I know when they find out, we'll be pulling for you. Rudy,
we are all pulling for Ray. I love that. Love you, Norm.
Thanks for listening to The Rita Cosby Show. You can hear The Rita Cosby Show weeknights at 10 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Get ready, Staten Island. It's time to celebrate 5 years of Ferry Hawks baseball.
The Ferry Hawks are back at SIUH Community Park this week against the Hagerstown Flying Boxcars. A 5-game series starting Wednesday with first pitch at 6:30. Thursday at 4 p.m., it's Jewish Heritage Night. Friday at 7 p.m., it's Soccer Night and kids glow around the bases postgame. Saturday at 6:30, it's Broadway Night with postgame fireworks and Broadway Rave. Sunday at 1:30, it's Military Appreciation Day and the kids run around the bases.
Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.